Scientists are perplexed by mysterious holes they keep finding on the ocean floor. They're the same size and they're equidistant from each other. Who made them? Why are they there? That's not a natural phenomenon. During a recent expedition to the largely unexplored depths of the northern mid-Atlantic ridge, marine researchers stumbled upon something very odd. Tiny holes, actually they're slits, I would say, slit holes, excavated in the sediment, all arranged in dozens of relatively straight lines. They're actually slits, I would say. Anyway, they call them holes. Holes on the seafloor would not usually be too perplexing, but these were dotted in an incredibly neat and evenly spaced pattern, which means that some intelligent life did this, obviously, if not for the fact they're located roughly 2.5 kilometers or 1.6 miles below the surface of the Atlantic Ocean, in the middle of nowhere. They could have been engineered by human hands, they said. Researchers on board the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration NOAA vessel, Okeanos Explorer, used a robotic submersible to explore an underwater volcanic ridge north of the Azores archipelago near mainland Portugal on July 23rd. Let's remember that the Azores were one of the potential locations of the lost Atlantis continent. Now the NOAA researchers are asking for help from the public to figure out what the heck they just saw. NOAA tweeted, "On Saturday, Okeanos dive, we saw several sublinear set of holes, I would call them slits, in the seafloor. The origin of the holes has scientists stumped. The holes look man-made, but the little piles of sediment around them suggest they were excavated by something." So that's what they tweeted. Roughly a week later, the researchers identified 4 more sets of holes around 483 kilometers, 300 miles away at 1.6 kilometers, 1 mile depth. While the holes look almost human-made, they said, the little piles of sediment around them suggest they had been excavated. And you can see them clearly. Yes, they have been excavated. What excavated them? "We attempted, but were not able to take a peek into the holes and poke them with the tools on the remotely operated vehicle," the NOAA wrote in their press release. To add to the mystery, it's not the first time scientists have seen holes like this. They've perplexed researchers for at least 20 years. A 2004 paper reported on a sighting in the same region last year. The researchers referred to them as Lebensspuren to describe the holes, which translate to life traces in German. The source of the holes or how they were constructed is unknown, but the raised sediment may indicate excavation by an infaunal organism or digging and removal, the authors wrote at the time. None of our close-ups show any sign of living organism inhabiting the holes. Whether the holes were connected between the sediment surface was not visible. Since then, we have not found out much more about these holes, but it's hoped that this mission may provide some answers. As a part of the recent expedition, the researchers were able to sample sediment from around the holes using the submersible suctioning device in the hopes that it may shed light on whether or not something lives in there. Having worked on both the recent exploration and the 2004 paper, NOAA deep-sea biologist Michael Vecchione has a vested interest in knowing what lurks behind and below the mid-Atlantic sands. "There is something important going on there, and we don't know what it is," he said. This is what Vecchione told Christine Chung from the New York Times. He said, "This highlights the fact that there are still mysteries out there, or I should say down there." Covering the impressive 16,000 kilometers, 10,000 miles, the Mid-Atlantic Ridge is the longest mountain range in the world, despite the fact that most of us have never laid eyes on it, because it's underwater, of course. We don't know much about the iconic region. We know that it's volcanic and it has a lot of earthquakes. We don't know much about it, which is why it's the focus of NOAA's Voyage to the Ridge 2022 expedition from May to September 2022. They're also looking at the Charlie Gibbs fracture zone, which interrupts the ridge at the Azores Plateau, which is located to the east of the Mid-Atlantic Ridge and is where 3 major tectonic plates converge. So as you can imagine, with all this activity, the Mid-Atlantic Ridge is an earthquake hotspot and is also home to stunning hydrothermal vents, where magma provides the heat used by life living at the extremes of the deep seafloor. The Voyage to the Ridge 2022 missions hope to find out more about that life, including the source of these weird holes. I would call them slits. And there's more dives scheduled for this part of the expedition, which will be on August 7. Who knows what other mysteries are yet to be uncovered down there. So this is what NOAA is asking for anyone who knows or who may think they know the answer to these to get in touch with them. This is by Fiona McDonald and Science Alert. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.